choosing too high of a deductible. So I'll give you an example for the homeowners. You can either, the average person picks between $500 to $1,000 deductible. The difference in savings between $500 to $1,000, it's no more than $100 a year. So think about it. You saved yourself probably $100, maybe less, and you just took on an exposure of $500 more. Is it worth it? Not worth it, because now you got to come up with $1,000. Now, for those that have big homes or don't like to make little claims, it's okay. You're not really doing it for the savings. You're doing it because you're not going to call the insurance company for stupid wind, the wind hit my shingle, or, it took down the whatever. You're not going to do that, those little claims. So you can choose a high deductible when you know that you can fix this on your own and it won't cost you that much. But don't expect to take on a huge deductible, and not be able to pay for it and save only $100. It's not worth it. You were going to say something, Terry?
I was going to say it's worth it for the insurance companies.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Because we don't want you to put in those little claims because it costs us a lot more than $100
exactly.
to handle a claim.
An insurance company, an average claim takes about 3 to 4 people of their staff to handle it. The person that's intaking, the person who's being assigned, the person who's being sent out, and then the follow-up, and even sending out a check. 4 salaries to handle a claim of $500, $100, it doesn't make any sense. So you choose high deductibles, not really for the savings, but because you're not going to make those tedious little claims. Now, in business, if you're going to choose a deductible of 3 and 5%, be careful the 3 and 5% of what? Ask that question, of what am I doing that? Because if it's going to be $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, and you don't have that available, there goes your business. You're out. You're going to have to go get a loan. And we know between the interest and all the costs, it's not worth it. Okay, no plan for relocation. We've mentioned that multiple times. Not understanding specific coverage. This one is huge. So I'll tell you, hey, your business interruption is going to protect you if there's a fire or there's a tornado, there's a wind. And now you had a hurricane and you have power outage. So you think, business interruption. Yes, but you didn't choose utility. So they're not going to pay you your business interruption because there's a clause there that you didn't cover.
So as the agent, isn't it incumbent upon you to inform the client
Absolutely.
of all of the things that they should be taking and making sure that when they don't take them, that they
You sign off.
waive?
Yes.
So you
We have a
show
lot
them
of,
instead?
yes. Look, an insurance agent, anybody in the service business that it's educating you, informing you, or guiding you, if their language or communication is poor, meaning that they took too much technical words and too much jargon, guess what? You're not going to understand what they're saying, and most of us wouldn't dare to ask. I do. I will ask, what did you mean? I'm paying you? I want to know, what is that word? What does it mean? But for the average person, they don't. And you stay quiet, and you're taking on a risk. So it's better that you ask. Now, it is on us, Terry and I, who are insurance agents, to explain this very detailed. Don't buy insurance over the phone. It's protecting your assets. And how do you buy all this over the phone? It just doesn't make sense. And I know that the media and everybody's pushing that. Easy, just on the phone. Have the agent, especially for small business, and if your business is in your home, you want to meet with this agent face to face, whether they come to you, which is what we offer for small business owners. We go to you guys because we know that you don't have the full staff to be leaving, But if we get a chance to come and visit you, we look at the location, we're looking at what the insurance company is looking at, we'll point out things that you should be protecting and making sure that it's protected. If you don't do that, especially for small business, you're buying the wrong policy. You're not going to have the right coverage. It's just hard to go over all this on the phone. Like, aren't you bored already? Right? Come on, you can say it. So home-based business, if you don't buy your own business insurance, you have no business coverage. And remember, we said that covers what? Your home, your car, your kids' activities, that vacation you want to take. So if you're not covering your business, shared office. So I'm going to a shared office. I didn't buy insurance for my business. You're not covered. The shared office building is not going to protect your business. They're just renting the space. You need to protect your business. And I think I'm done. I've exhausted you enough. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Business in the home, incidental office occupancy, can you explain what that is?
Well, it covers you up to $2,500.
But if you don't, is that an endorsement on your policy?
You should ask for that. Now, standard, some policies have, some homeowners insurance, like the Chubbs and the Travelers, they have that. They have the incidental business. But it's a very minimal amount. It's not going to cover, like if you're, let's say your gross sales, let's say you just started your business and your gross selling about $50,000. It's not going to cover $50,000. It's going to be about $2,500. So even though it might have incidental, it's very small, the limit. And insurance is either deductibles or limitations, deductibles or limitations. So you always have to ask, what's my deductible and what's my limit? Those are the two questions you should ask. And think of the most disastrous things that can happen. And you don't even have to know about insurance. Just think of the craziest stuff. Now, how many of you know somebody that got divorced? Okay, me twice. Okay. All right, okay. So how many got unemployed? Anybody that you know that unemployed? Somebody died, right? What else happens? Diseases, health issues, right? This is life. So when you're buying insurance, think of those things. As you're buying insurance for your business, what happens, what if? And put a whole bunch of scenarios. I love that type of client. Give it to me. Tell me what you're feeling, what you're concerned about. Because what you're concerned about is what you've experienced, what you know, and I'm going to make sure that it's protected. And if a business insurance policy doesn't cover it, then I'm going to tell you, okay, get a disability, a business disability insurance, get a health insurance policy, get a life insurance policy. I will tell you what to do, and I will guide you to who to get it with if I don't offer it.
It's probably the best way to look at it is that you look at the very worst case scenario and the very best case scenario, and you try and land somewhere in the middle.
That's, yes.
You know?
And a good agent will be able to go navigate with you through all that process, right, Terry? We go through that process with you. You know, what are you feeling? What are your concerns? What do you want to make sure that you're covered for? I mean, if you don't share with the agent, I tell my clients, and it's a different community, but I am the priest. Confess yourself. Tell me everything. I'll keep you in the hush hush. Go ahead.
Two questions about the.
Speak up, Ken, so the camera
Sure.
gets it.
Two questions about the business interruption, business income insurance.
Yes.
My experience in filing a claim is somewhat dated, so I'm curious as to whether things have changed. There was an endorsement for ordinary payroll that we didn't have, and I ultimately forced the insurance company actually to pay.
Okay.
Even though we didn't have the endorsement, because I'm one of those people who actually reads the policy.
Yes.
And found language here and language there, and said, well, you know, I wouldn't have gone to court, but I said, you know, what if I were to go to court? How many of these policies do you have out there? If I actually were able to convince the court that the instructions. Anyway, do they still have that kind of an endorsement, or do they cover your payroll as part of the expenses that you know, when you have to retain staff?
Additional staff?
Well, we had an office leveled by, actually it was Hurricane Andrew, and we had a couple hundred people there, and they only want to cover the supervisors, but everybody was trained, and you know, to lose that trained workforce meant we wouldn't have been able to reopen.
Right.
And we didn't have the wherewithal to pay them without having business until we could get, you know, into alternate facilities and so forth. So do they still have that, where if you don't remember to check the box and pay what was relatively nominal incremental premium, you're not covered?
So just so that you know, there is a standard of coverage for payroll. There's an amount, it's a standard coverage. But when you hire, for example, like you're explaining to me, what I'm hearing is that there was an additional group of people that you just trained, right? It was new?
There are trained workforce.
Okay. So when you're doing your insurance policies, they ask that question: what are your gross sales and what are your payroll? And if you have a big hike, the insurance company are going to have a hard time accepting that what happened to that hike. Did it always exist, or is it new?
I don't think he was talking about additional.
No, this was
Just
our
staff?
ongoing staff,
Regular
180 people out of 200, they didn't want to pay the salaries.
It sounds like exempt versus
Where we would
non-exempt.
lose those people.
That sounds like an old policy.
Yeah, that doesn't
doesn't sound
exist
like it.
anymore.
Okay, that's what
Yeah,
I was asking,
yeah.
what was
Yeah.
changed.
But for those that have temporary employees, temporary staffing,
Yeah.
or for those that in construction and they hire somebody for the day, yeah, that is an issue. That is an issue.
The other question I had was, you mentioned, having financials and tax returns and budgets and so forth. So who's got the leverage, if you will, between, gee, I happen to be having a bad year, and so I look bad against budget, I look okay against last year. And who gets to choose which one they're gonna use to determine whether you had a loss or not?
That's what you need a CPA, because a CPA will have that record of year comparison for up to 3 years, and that's what they're going to want to see. If the drop is huge, or the increase was too high, they're going to want to see, well, what's his pattern, and then they're going to see the differences, and they will make a decision on that. The CPA is your best friend. Here's the problem with CPAs. Nothing against CPAs. Sometimes they want to save us a lot of money on taxes, and then we lose money on this side. So you got to be careful on the losses that they're reporting, and all these inventory losses and all these extra losses that they're reporting, so the taxes are not that high. But then when it comes to the insurance part, the insurance company is going to look at that and say, for the last 3 years, you've been claiming losses, and now you're saying you're profitable? That's going to be a problem. That's going to be an issue. So saving money on your taxes and losing money on the insurance claim, it's going to happen.
Bird in the hand.
You can't have both. You're either going to win here and lose there, win here.
Take through.
Pay the taxes so you can get the coverage. All right, so thank you very much for your time. I hope that this helped somehow.
Yeah.
Have
It's very
cookies,
good.
have coffee, have more sandwich, finish
That
it.
was excellent, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very, very